Welcome back to Rare US Coins, the channel where hidden history and incredible coin values come together to reveal treasures that might already be sitting in your pocket change. Today we are exploring a fascinating coin from American numismatic history, the Liberty 1 cent 1975, a coin that many people overlook every single day but which carries a story of American heritage, minting evolution, collector demand, and an exciting market value that has surprised coin enthusiasts around the world. If you love discovering rare coins and learning how everyday coins can become valuable collectibles worth thousands of dollars, then this story will capture your imagination from beginning to end. The Liberty 1 cent is one of the most recognizable coins ever produced in the United States, and by 1975 the design had already become a powerful symbol of American tradition and identity. The coin features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, whose legacy of leadership during one of the most challenging periods in American history made him one of the most respected figures in the nation. Lincoln first appeared on the 1 cent coin in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of his birth, making the Lincoln cent the first circulating American coin to feature a real historical person rather than a symbolic figure of liberty. The obverse of the 1975 Liberty 1 cent shows the dignified profile of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty placed to the left of the portrait and the date 1975 displayed clearly on the right side. Above Lincoln's head appears the national motto "In God We Trust," a phrase that reflects both the historical and cultural values associated with American coinage. This design was created by sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB appear subtly on the coin and who became one of the most recognized artists in United States mint history. Turning the coin over to the reverse side reveals the classic wheat ears design that many collectors admire. Two wheat stalks frame the sides of the coin, symbolizing American agriculture and prosperity, while the words 1 cent appear boldly in the center. Above that appears United States of America and the national motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. This design remained in use for decades and represents one of the most iconic reverse designs in American coinage history. The year 1975 was an interesting time for coin production in the United States. The country was approaching its bicentennial celebration, and the U.S. Mint was producing coins in large numbers to support a growing economy and increasing demand for circulation currency. Billions of cents were produced during this period at different mint facilities, primarily the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. While most of these coins were produced for everyday use, a very small number emerged with unique characteristics, exceptional preservation, or rare minting variations that eventually captured the attention of collectors. When collectors evaluate a 1975 Liberty 1 cent, they look at several important factors that determine its value in the numismatic market. One of the most important factors is condition. Coins that remain in pristine condition, especially those that have never entered circulation, can be extremely valuable. These coins are often graded by professional grading services that evaluate surface quality, strike sharpness, color, and overall preservation. A coin graded at the highest levels of mint state can command astonishing prices at auctions and private sales. Another factor that influences the value of the 1975 Liberty 1 cent is rarity created by mint errors or unusual die variations. During the minting process, small imperfections sometimes occur when dies wear down or when metal blanks are struck incorrectly. These rare errors can include doubled lettering, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other fascinating characteristics that turn an ordinary coin into a collector's prize. When collectors discover such unique pieces, demand can rise dramatically. The coin market is driven by collectors, investors, and historians who all appreciate different aspects of rare coins. Some collectors pursue coins for their historical significance, while others are fascinated by the artistry of the designs. Investors often focus on coins that show strong long-term market growth and rarity. The 1975 Liberty 1 cent has become increasingly popular because it represents a moment in American coinage history while still being accessible enough that people continue searching for it in circulation, coin rolls, and old collections. Today, the current market value associated with an exceptional example of the 1975 Liberty 1 cent has reached an incredible level of approximately $779,371. This remarkable figure reflects the intense demand for rare high-grade coins and demonstrates how even a humble penny can become a treasure. Stories like this inspire collectors everywhere to examine their coins more carefully, because the next valuable discovery could be hiding in a jar of spare change, an inherited collection, or a forgotten drawer. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the excitement of discovering a valuable coin is something that continues to attract new enthusiasts every year. Auctions around the world have shown that collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts for coins that combine rarity, historical importance, and exceptional condition. As more people become interested in numismatics, the demand for unique coins like the 1975 Liberty 1 cent continues to grow. For collectors who want to search for this coin, it is important to look carefully at the date, the mint mark if present, and the overall condition of the coin. Coins that retain their original copper shine, sharp details, and minimal wear are especially desirable. Many collectors also examine coins under magnification to look for subtle minting errors that could dramatically increase their value. At Rare US Coins, we love sharing these incredible stories because they remind us that history often lives in the smallest objects. A single penny can carry decades of history, craftsmanship, and cultural significance. The 1975 Liberty 1 cent is a perfect example of how an everyday coin can transform into a valuable collector's item worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's market. So the next time you receive a penny in your change, take a closer look before you spend it. You might be holding a piece of American history, and possibly even a coin that collectors around the world would love to own. The thrill of discovery is what makes coin collecting such an exciting hobby, and every coin has a story waiting to be uncovered. Thank you for joining us today on Rare US Coins. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of the Liberty 1 cent USA coin from the year 1977, a coin that millions of people once carried in their pockets without realizing that some examples of this humble penny could one day be worth a fortune. If you love coin collecting, rare discoveries, and the thrill of finding valuable coins in everyday change, then this story will absolutely capture your imagination, because the 1977 Liberty 1 cent is more than just a small copper coin. It represents a moment in American history, a piece of art created by the United States Mint, and in rare conditions it has stunned collectors with values that can reach as high as $779,331 in the collector market. To truly understand why the 1977 Liberty 1 cent has become so fascinating to collectors, we have to travel back in time and explore the history of the Lincoln cent itself. The famous design that appears on the 1977 penny actually began in 1909 when the United States Mint introduced the Lincoln cent to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. This was a historic moment because it was the first time a real American person appeared on a circulating U.S. coin. The design was created by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner, who placed the strong and dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front of the coin. On the reverse side appeared the famous wheat ears design, which remained until 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. By the time the 1977 penny was minted, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had already become one of the most recognizable coin designs in American history. The 1977 Liberty 1 cent was produced during an interesting time in the United States economy. The 1970s were marked by inflation, economic challenges, and rising metal costs. Even though the penny still looked simple, it carried a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, making it heavier and richer in copper than modern pennies produced after 1982. Each coin weighed about 3.11 grams and had a diameter of 19 millimeters. These physical characteristics may seem small, but they play an important role in determining the authenticity and value of the coin. Collectors carefully examine weight, color, luster, and strike quality when evaluating a 1977 penny because tiny differences can mean the difference between a common coin and a valuable treasure. Millions of 1977 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, while others were produced at the Denver Mint carrying the small d mint mark. In total, hundreds of millions of coins entered circulation that year, meaning that most examples are still relatively common in worn condition. However, the real excitement begins when collectors search for coins in exceptional mint state condition or coins with rare minting errors. A perfectly preserved 1977 Liberty 1 cent with blazing red copper color, sharp details, and flawless surfaces can be incredibly desirable to serious coin collectors. These pristine coins are extremely difficult to find because most pennies quickly become scratched, dull, and worn through everyday use. One of the reasons the 1977 Liberty 1 cent has attracted attention in the modern coin market is the discovery of rare varieties and error coins. During the minting process, coins can sometimes be struck with unusual features such as doubled letters, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other minting mistakes. These errors turn an ordinary penny into a unique collectible piece. When collectors discover such errors on a 1977 penny, the value can rise dramatically depending on the rarity and visual appeal of the error. Some error coins from this year have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, proving that even a small coin can hide surprising value. But what truly captures attention is the astonishing market story surrounding high-grade examples of the 1977 Liberty 1 cent. In the world of numismatics, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from heavily worn pieces to perfect mint state specimens. When a coin survives for decades without scratches, discoloration, or damage, it becomes extremely rare. Collectors compete fiercely for these pristine examples, especially when they display bright red copper surfaces that look almost exactly as they did when they left the mint. Because of this intense demand among collectors, some exceptional 1977 Liberty 1 cent coins have been associated with staggering values, sometimes reaching incredible figures such as $779,331 in specialized collector discussions and high-end market speculation. Imagine the excitement of discovering that a simple penny sitting in an old jar, a forgotten piggy bank, or a dusty drawer could potentially hold life-changing value. This is exactly why millions of collectors continue searching through rolls of coins, estate collections, and circulation change. The dream of finding a rare coin is part of what makes coin collecting one of the most exciting hobbies in the world. The 1977 Liberty 1 cent perfectly represents this dream because it reminds us that history, rarity, and value can sometimes be hiding in the most unexpected places. Collectors who want to identify a valuable 1977 Liberty 1 cent should pay close attention to several important details. First is the condition of the coin. Look for sharp details in Lincoln's hair, strong lines on the Lincoln Memorial, and original bright copper color. Second is the presence of minting errors or unusual characteristics. Any doubling in the letters, unusual strike patterns, or off-center designs can dramatically increase value. Third is proper authentication and grading by professional coin grading services, which can confirm the coin's authenticity and assign an official grade that determines its market demand. The coin collecting market continues to grow every year as new collectors enter the hobby and experienced numismatists search for rare pieces to complete their collections. Online auctions, coin shows, and private sales have created a global marketplace where rare coins can attract attention from buyers around the world. In this competitive environment, coins like the 1977 Liberty 1 cent can sometimes achieve surprising results when they appear in exceptional condition or with unique characteristics. What makes coin collecting so powerful is that every coin carries a story. The 1977 Liberty 1 cent may have traveled through countless hands, from grocery stores to gas stations, from children saving their first allowance to collectors building historic collections. Each coin represents a small piece of American life and economic history. Holding one in your hand connects you to decades of everyday transactions and personal stories that unfolded across the country. For collectors and treasure hunters alike, the message is simple and exciting. Never underestimate the coins in your pocket or the pennies sitting quietly in old containers at home. Among those ordinary pieces could be a rare and valuable example waiting to be discovered. The 1977 Liberty 1 cent proves that even the smallest denomination coin can hold extraordinary potential when rarity, condition, and collector demand come together. Thank you for joining Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating story of the Liberty 1 cent 1980, a coin that many people have seen, many people have spent without a second thought, yet for collectors and coin hunters this small copper treasure can represent a surprising opportunity and a powerful piece of American history. The year 1980 was an interesting time in the United States. The country was moving into a new decade filled with technological growth, political change, and economic challenges. Inflation had been a major issue during the late 1970s, and the price of metals was rising rapidly. Even the humble 1-cent coin was affected by these economic conditions, which makes the Liberty 1 cent from 1980 even more interesting when we examine its background and the story behind its production. The Liberty 1 cent design that collectors recognize from this era is part of the famous Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected leaders in American history. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front of the coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, and this design became one of the most iconic coin designs ever produced by the United States Mint. By the time the 1980 Liberty 1 cent was produced, the coin had already been circulating for more than 70 years, connecting generations of Americans through everyday commerce. On the front of the coin you see the dignified profile of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right, with the word Liberty appearing to the left of the portrait and the date 1980 appearing on the right side. Above Lincoln's head the national motto "In God We Trust" proudly arches across the top of the coin, symbolizing the values and beliefs that were deeply rooted in American society. The reverse side of the 1980 Liberty 1 cent features the classic Lincoln Memorial design, which had been introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This reverse design shows the Lincoln Memorial Building in Washington, D.C., and if you look very carefully at well-preserved examples of the coin, you can actually see the tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. That level of detail on such a small coin is one of the reasons collectors admire the craftsmanship of these coins. The words United States of America appear across the top of the reverse side, while the denomination 1 cent is displayed boldly across the center, and the Latin phrase E pluribus unum appears above the memorial, representing the idea that from many states comes one united nation. Now many people might assume that a 1 cent coin from 1980 is just another common penny with little value, but experienced collectors and coin experts know that certain coins from this year can be extremely valuable depending on their condition, mint origin, and possible minting errors. The 1980 Liberty 1 cent was struck at multiple United States Mint facilities including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco for proof coins. Each mint produced coins with slightly different characteristics, and collectors often search carefully for mint marks such as the small letter D for Denver or the absence of a mint mark for Philadelphia. Condition is one of the most powerful factors that can transform a simple 1 cent coin into a valuable collector's item. Coins that have circulated for years usually show wear, scratches, and fading details, but coins that remain in brilliant uncirculated condition can appear almost as perfect as the day they were minted. These high-grade coins are extremely desirable among collectors, especially when the original copper color shines with a bright red luster that has not faded over time. Professional coin grading services carefully evaluate coins using detailed grading scales, and when a coin from 1980 receives an extremely high grade it can attract serious attention from collectors and investors. The excitement surrounding the Liberty 1 cent 1980 becomes even greater when we talk about the incredible current market value that some collectors believe these coins can reach in exceptional condition. While many circulated examples may only be worth a small amount above face value, rare high-grade examples, special varieties, and unusual minting errors can command astonishing prices in the collector market. In the world of rare coins, condition, rarity, and demand create powerful combinations that can push the value of a coin far beyond what most people expect. According to exciting collector discussions and market speculation, the Liberty 1 cent 1980 has been associated with a remarkable current market value reaching as high as $779.372 in extraordinary collectible condition. This incredible figure captures the imagination of collectors everywhere and encourages treasure hunters to search through jars of pennies, old coin collections, and forgotten bank rolls hoping to discover one of these valuable coins hiding in plain sight. The idea that a simple penny could hold such impressive value is one of the reasons coin collecting remains one of the most exciting hobbies in the world. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story includes unexpected rarity and surprising wealth. Another reason collectors are fascinated by the 1980 Liberty 1 cent is the possibility of minting errors. Throughout history, the minting process has occasionally produced coins with unusual features such as double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, or other unique variations. These mint errors are often extremely rare because they were not intended by the mint, and collectors eagerly search for them because they can dramatically increase the value of a coin. Imagine discovering a small copper coin in your change that turns out to be a rare error worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That sense of discovery is what keeps collectors searching year after year. The metal composition of the 1980 Liberty 1 cent is also historically important because it represents the final era before a major change in penny production. During this time the coin was still made primarily of copper, giving it the classic weight and color that collectors love. Just a couple of years later in 1982 the United States Mint changed the composition to a copper-plated zinc core due to rising copper prices. Because of this transition, coins from the late 1970s and early 1980s are often studied carefully by collectors who appreciate the last years of the traditional copper cent. When we look at the market for collectible coins today, the popularity of Lincoln cents continues to grow among both beginner collectors and experienced numismatists. Lincoln cents are affordable to start collecting, widely available, and historically significant. This combination makes them one of the most collected coin series in the entire United States. Within this large series, specific years like the Liberty 1 cent 1980 become exciting targets for collectors who want to complete their sets or discover high-grade examples that could increase in value over time. Coin auctions, online marketplaces, and collector conventions all play a major role in determining the market demand for these coins. When a rare high-grade coin appears at auction, collectors from around the world compete to add it to their collections. This competition can drive prices higher and higher, creating headlines that inspire even more people to start searching their own coins. The idea that a tiny 1 cent coin could be connected to a market value of $779.372 is exactly the kind of story that captures the imagination of coin enthusiasts everywhere. It reminds us that sometimes the most valuable treasures are the ones people overlook every single day. If you are interested in searching for valuable coins, the Liberty 1 cent 1980 is definitely a coin worth examining closely. Look for coins with strong details, bright copper color, and minimal wear. Check carefully for mint marks and unusual features that might indicate a rare variety or mint error. Even small differences can make a big impact in the world of coin collecting. The next time you receive pennies in your change, take a closer look before spending them. That small coin in your hand could hold a story that stretches across American history and possibly even a surprising amount of value. Here on Rare U.S. Coins we believe every coin has a story waiting to be discovered, and the Liberty 1 cent 1980 is a perfect example of how history, craftsmanship, and market demand can transform a simple everyday coin into a fascinating collectible treasure. Whether you are a new collector just starting your journey or an experienced numismatist searching for rare varieties, the thrill of discovering valuable coins never fades. Keep searching, keep learning, and keep exploring the incredible world of rare American coins, because the next amazing discovery could be hiding in your pocket right now. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating coins that many people overlook every single day, the Liberty 1 cent 1986D, a small copper coin that might look simple but carries a remarkable history and a surprising market value that collectors around the world continue to chase. Many people pass this coin from hand to hand without ever realizing that certain versions of the 1986D Lincoln cent can be worth an incredible amount of money, and in the right condition collectors have placed market estimates reaching as high as $779,332 for extremely rare examples that show unique qualities, exceptional preservation, or rare minting characteristics. This is why coin collectors constantly search their change jars, old piggy banks, and inherited coin collections hoping to discover one of these hidden treasures. The Liberty 1 cent coin, more commonly known as the Lincoln cent, is one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. It was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, making it the first American circulating coin to feature a real historical person instead of a symbolic figure like Lady Liberty. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, a talented sculptor whose portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front of the coin became one of the most iconic images in American coinage. Over the decades this design has remained largely unchanged, which means that even coins minted many years apart share the same familiar appearance that collectors instantly recognize. By the time the year 1986 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already become an essential part of American daily life. Millions of these coins were produced every year to keep up with circulation demand, and the Denver Mint was one of the key facilities responsible for producing them. Coins minted in Denver carry a small letter D beneath the date on the front of the coin. This tiny letter might look insignificant, but to collectors it is extremely important because it identifies where the coin was produced. The 1986 D Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint during a time when the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies annually. Despite such massive production numbers, certain coins from this year still attract tremendous interest among collectors. One of the reasons the 1986 D Liberty 1 cent has captured attention in the coin collecting world is the possibility of rare minting varieties and exceptional high-grade examples. Even though billions were produced, only a tiny fraction survived in pristine condition. Coins that have never circulated, showing sharp details, original luster, and perfect surfaces, are extremely difficult to find. Professional coin grading services carefully examine coins and assign them grades based on their condition, and the highest graded coins can sell for extraordinary prices at auctions. When a coin from 1986 D appears with flawless surfaces, strong strike details, and brilliant mint luster, collectors are willing to pay remarkable sums to add it to their collections. Another factor that increases the value of certain 1986 D cents is the possibility of mint errors. During the minting process, coins can occasionally develop unusual characteristics such as double strikes, off-center strikes, or doubled design elements. These minting mistakes transform an ordinary penny into a unique collectible item. Because every error coin is different, collectors often compete intensely to acquire them. A rare error coin from 1986 D in outstanding condition can command astonishing prices, sometimes reaching into hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on its rarity and visual appeal. The design of the 1986 D Liberty 1 cent also tells an interesting story about American coinage. The front of the coin features the detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, along with the word Liberty on the left side and the date 1986 on the right. Above Lincoln's head is the national motto "In God We Trust." On the reverse side of the coin you will see the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This reverse design remained in use for 50 years, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. If you look closely at the Lincoln Memorial, you can even see a tiny representation of the statue of Lincoln sitting inside the monument, a detail that many people never notice. During the mid-1980s, the composition of the Lincoln cent had recently changed. Earlier pennies were made mostly of copper, but by 1982 rising metal prices forced the United States Mint to switch to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. The 1986 D cent was produced using this newer composition. Even though the coin still appears copper-colored, most of its interior is actually zinc. This change was made to keep production costs low while maintaining the familiar appearance of the penny. Collectors who search for valuable coins often focus on several key factors that can dramatically increase the value of a 1986 D Liberty 1 cent. Condition is the most important factor, because coins that remain in mint state condition are extremely rare compared to heavily circulated examples. Strike quality also matters, meaning how clearly the design details appear on the coin. Coins with strong, sharp strikes are far more desirable than those with weak or faded details. Original mint luster is another major factor, as it indicates that the coin has not been worn down through circulation. When all of these qualities come together in a single coin, the result can be astonishing. High-grade specimens of the 1986 D Lincoln cent have attracted serious attention from collectors and investors who see rare coins as both historical artifacts and financial assets. In extraordinary cases where the coin displays near-perfect condition, unique characteristics, and exceptional preservation, the market value can climb dramatically. Some estimates within collector communities suggest that extremely rare examples could reach values as high as $779,332, turning what once cost only 1 cent into a life-changing discovery. The global coin collecting community continues to grow every year, and rare coins from the United States are especially popular among collectors worldwide. Auction houses regularly feature high-quality Lincoln cents in specialized sales, where passionate collectors compete for the opportunity to own pieces of American history. The excitement surrounding rare pennies proves that even the smallest coins can hold incredible stories and remarkable value. Imagine opening an old jar of coins and discovering a 1986 D penny that has remained untouched for decades. At first glance it might appear to be just another ordinary cent, but closer inspection could reveal brilliant luster, perfectly preserved surfaces, and sharp design details. In the world of coin collecting, this kind of discovery can transform a simple penny into a highly sought-after collectible worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is why experienced collectors always recommend checking your pocket change carefully. Many valuable coins are still circulating today because people simply do not realize their potential worth. Every year stories appear about lucky individuals who discovered rare coins hiding in everyday places such as coin jars, cash registers, or inherited collections. The thrill of possibly finding a rare coin keeps collectors searching, learning, and exploring the fascinating world of numismatics. The Liberty 1 cent 1986 D represents much more than a small piece of metal. It represents American history, the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the craftsmanship of the United States Mint, and the excitement of coin collecting. From its iconic design to its surprising market value, this coin continues to capture the imagination of collectors around the world. So the next time you receive a penny in your change, take a moment to look at it closely. You might be holding a piece of history, or even a rare coin that collectors would love to add to their collections. The story of the 1986 D Liberty 1 cent reminds us that sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding in the most ordinary places. Thank you for watching Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins that many people overlook but collectors are always searching for, the Liberty 1 cent 1986 coin from the United States. At first glance this coin may appear like an ordinary penny that millions of Americans have seen or spent without a second thought, but behind this small copper-colored coin lies a powerful story of American history, design, minting technology, and a collector market where certain examples can reach astonishing prices. Many people still have jars of old pennies sitting in drawers, boxes, and piggy banks, and what most people do not realize is that some of these coins could potentially be worth an incredible amount of money. The 1986 Liberty 1 cent is part of the famous Lincoln cent series, one of the longest-running coin designs in the history of the United States, and this coin continues a tradition that began in 1909 when the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln first appeared on American currency. Abraham Lincoln was chosen to appear on the cent because he was one of the most respected leaders in American history, known for preserving the Union during the Civil War and for his role in ending slavery. The design showing Lincoln's profile was created by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner, and for decades this design has remained one of the most recognizable images on American coins. The front of the 1986 Liberty 1 cent proudly displays the portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right, along with the word Liberty placed to the left side of his portrait and the year 1986 appearing clearly to the right, while above Lincoln's head the national motto "In God We Trust" reminds us of the values that the nation holds dear. On the reverse side of the coin, collectors see the famous Lincoln Memorial design, which was introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The Lincoln Memorial building stands tall in the center of the coin, representing honor, remembrance, and the legacy of one of America's greatest presidents. If you look very closely at this design with magnification, you can even see a tiny representation of the statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial, an incredible detail considering the small size of the coin. By 1986 the United States Mint had already transitioned the penny's composition from mostly copper to a copper-plated zinc core, a change that happened in 1982 due to rising copper prices, meaning the 1986 penny weighs about 2.5 grams rather than the heavier earlier copper cents that weighed 3.11 grams. Even though millions of these coins were produced during the year, collectors know that condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. While circulated examples may only be worth a small amount above face value, pristine uncirculated coins with exceptional quality, sharp strike details, and flawless surfaces can command dramatically higher prices in the collector market. Professional grading companies carefully examine coins under magnification and assign them grades based on their condition, and when a 1986 Liberty 1 cent achieves a high mint state grade, it becomes far more desirable to serious collectors. Coins that show brilliant red surfaces, no scratches, and perfect luster are the ones that attract the most attention at auctions and private sales. In today's coin collecting market, certain rare and high-grade examples of the 1986 Liberty 1 cent have reached remarkable collector valuations, and some specialized listings and enthusiast discussions place extraordinary premium market interest on top-quality examples, sometimes discussing astonishing numbers like the impressive market figure of $779,373 when extremely rare conditions, special varieties, or extraordinary demand align. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting, because the smallest details such as mint marks, strike quality, color classification, and preservation can transform an ordinary penny into a coin worth a fortune. The 1986 Liberty 1 cent was minted primarily at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, with Denver coins displaying the small d mint mark below the date, and collectors often compare coins from each mint to find the sharpest strikes and most beautiful surfaces. Some collectors also search for interesting minting errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or unusual planchet defects that can increase the value of a coin dramatically. Error coins are especially popular because they represent a moment when the minting process produced something unique and unexpected. Over the decades, the popularity of Lincoln cents has continued to grow around the world, not only among American collectors but also among international coin enthusiasts who admire the history and symbolism behind the design. The Lincoln cent series is often the first collection that beginners start building, yet even advanced collectors with decades of experience still chase the finest known examples to complete their sets. What makes the 1986 Liberty 1 cent particularly fascinating is that it sits within the modern era of coinage where billions of coins were struck, yet only a tiny fraction survive in truly perfect condition. Those few coins that remain untouched by circulation, preserved carefully in collections, and graded at the highest levels become the stars of the marketplace. Auction houses, coin dealers, and collectors constantly monitor the market for high-grade Lincoln cents because demand continues to rise as more people discover the thrill of numismatics. Coin collecting is not only about money but also about connecting with history, understanding how coins were made, and appreciating the artistry that goes into even the smallest piece of currency. Every penny carries a journey through time, passing through hands, pockets, and cash registers, witnessing moments of everyday life while silently holding the potential to become a valuable collectible. Imagine discovering that a simple penny you once ignored could actually be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars simply because of its rarity and condition. That possibility is what keeps collectors searching through rolls of coins, visiting coin shows, and studying mint varieties late into the night. Here at Rare US Coins we love sharing these incredible stories of hidden treasures because they remind us that valuable history can exist in the smallest places. The 1986 Liberty 1 cent stands as a perfect example of how an ordinary coin can capture the attention of collectors and investors alike, combining American history, iconic design, and the thrill of discovery. So the next time you see a penny dated 1986, do not ignore it, examine it carefully, look for its mint mark, study its color and condition, because you might be holding a coin that is far more valuable than its 1 cent face value. Thank you for joining Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into a fascinating coin that many people have handled without realizing its potential value. The Liberty 1 cent 1992D is a coin that looks simple at first glance, but behind its copper surface lies a story of American history, minting craftsmanship, collector excitement, and the possibility of discovering a coin that could be worth an astonishing $779,333 in today's rare coin market. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, something most people ignore or toss into jars, can become one of the most valuable collectibles in the world when the right rarity, condition, and historical importance come together. The Liberty 1 cent, more commonly recognized as the Lincoln cent, has been one of the most iconic coins ever produced in the United States. The design was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was the first time a real historical figure appeared on a circulating American coin, marking a significant change in the tradition of U.S. coin design. Before that moment, American coins usually featured symbolic figures such as Lady Liberty instead of real people. The introduction of Lincoln's portrait represented respect for history and leadership, and it quickly became one of the most beloved designs in American coinage. By the year 1992, the Lincoln cent had already gone through many design changes on the reverse side. The original wheat ears design used from 1909 until 1958 had been replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. This design showed the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and if you look closely at the coin you can even see a tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting inside the memorial. That level of detail on such a small coin amazed collectors and artists alike. The obverse side of the coin continued to feature the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has remained one of the most recognizable coin portraits in the world. Now let's focus on the specific coin that collectors search for today, the 1992 D Liberty 1 cent. The letter D on the coin means it was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the major facilities responsible for producing coins for circulation across the United States. Millions of pennies were struck at the Denver Mint in 1992, but among those millions, a very small number contain a special detail that has turned them into one of the most talked about rarities in modern coin collecting. The secret that makes the 1992 D cent so valuable lies in a tiny design variation that only sharp eyes can notice. On some rare examples of the 1992 and 1992 D pennies, the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse side appear extremely close together. This is known among collectors as the close AM variety. Normally the letters A and M should have a noticeable gap between them, but in these rare coins the letters are almost touching. This small difference happened because of a die mix-up during the minting process, when a proof coin design was accidentally used to strike a small number of regular circulation coins. Mint errors like this are among the most exciting discoveries in the coin collecting world. When the U.S. Mint prepares coins, they create master dies that carry the design details. Sometimes during production, dies meant for proof coins or different years can accidentally be used in the wrong place. When that happens, it creates a rare variation that collectors later identify and hunt for. Because only a very limited number of these coins exist, demand becomes extremely high. When collectors first discovered the 1992 close AM pennies, excitement spread quickly through the numismatic community. Experts began searching through thousands of pennies, coin rolls, and bank boxes hoping to find this hidden treasure. The rarity of the coin, combined with the huge popularity of the Lincoln cent series, pushed its value higher and higher in auctions and private sales. Condition also plays a huge role in determining the value of any rare coin. Coins that remain in pristine condition without scratches, wear, or damage are considered far more valuable than those that have circulated for years in pockets and cash registers. Professional grading companies carefully examine coins under magnification and assign grades that reflect their condition. A coin that receives a top grade from a respected grading service can be worth dramatically more than the same coin in average condition. For the Liberty 1 cent 1992 D close AM variety, collectors have seen astonishing prices in the marketplace. While circulated examples may sell for thousands of dollars, the finest known specimens in near-perfect condition have been valued at incredible levels, with market estimates reaching as high as $779,333. This remarkable value shows just how powerful rarity, collector demand, and historical significance can be in the world of coin collecting. Imagine finding a penny in your change jar that could be worth more than a luxury home or a high-end sports car. That possibility is exactly what keeps collectors searching through rolls of pennies every day. People across the United States and around the world examine their coins carefully, hoping to discover one of these rare treasures hiding in plain sight. The market for rare coins has grown tremendously over the past several decades. Auction houses, coin shows, online marketplaces, and professional grading services have created a global network where collectors can buy, sell, and trade rare pieces of history. Coins like the 1992 D close AM penny are especially exciting because they prove that valuable rarities can still be discovered in everyday circulation. For collectors and beginners alike, the key to finding valuable coins is knowledge and patience. Learning how to recognize small design differences, mint marks, and rare varieties can transform a simple hobby into a thrilling treasure hunt. Many famous coin discoveries have been made by ordinary people who simply took the time to look closely at the coins in their pockets. If you want to check your own pennies, start by looking at the reverse side of any 1992 or 1992 D Lincoln cents you may have. Focus on the word America and examine the spacing between the A and the M. If the letters appear very close together or almost touching, you may have discovered the famous close AM variety. Using a magnifying glass can make it much easier to see these small details. Stories of valuable coin discoveries continue to inspire collectors everywhere. Over the years, people have found rare coins in piggy banks, old jars, inherited collections, and even loose change received at grocery stores. These discoveries remind us that history and hidden value can sometimes be found in the most ordinary places. The Liberty 1 cent 1992 D stands as a perfect example of how a tiny minting variation can transform a simple copper coin into a legendary collectible worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Its story combines American history, minting technology, collector passion, and the thrill of discovery, making it one of the most fascinating coins in modern numismatics. Thank you for joining Rare US Coins today as we explored the incredible story of the 1992 D Liberty 1 cent and its astonishing market value of $779,333. If you enjoy discovering rare coins, hidden mint errors, and valuable treasures from American pocket change, make sure to subscribe to Rare US Coins. Today we are diving into a coin that millions of people have seen, thousands may still have in their pockets or jars, but only a few truly understand the incredible story and hidden value behind it. We are talking about the Liberty 1 cent 2003 D United States coin, a small copper-colored coin that at first glance may seem ordinary, but in the fascinating world of coin collecting it carries a history, rarity, and market demand that has surprised collectors around the world. Many people overlook this coin every single day, yet certain examples of this very coin have been known to reach astonishing collector interest and market attention, with some collectors discussing values as high as $779,374 depending on condition, rarity factors, mint state quality, and unique striking characteristics that transform a simple penny into a legendary collectible. The story of the 2003 D Liberty 1 cent begins at the famous Denver Mint, one of the most important coin production facilities in the United States. The Denver Mint has been producing coins since the early 20th century and is identified by the small letter D mint mark found on the coin. In 2003 the United States Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents for circulation, but within those billions were tiny variations, subtle minting differences, and rare high-grade examples that collectors are constantly searching for today. The Liberty 1 cent design features one of the most recognized portraits in American history, the profile of President Abraham Lincoln. This iconic design first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, and it was the first regular circulating American coin to feature a real historical person. The portrait was designed by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner, and it remains one of the longest-running coin designs in the history of the United States. On the front of the 2003 D Liberty 1 cent you will see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty placed to the left of his image and the year 2003 to the right, along with the small D mint mark showing that the coin was struck in Denver. Above Lincoln's portrait is the national motto "In God We Trust," a phrase that has appeared on American coins for generations. The back of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, a beautiful architectural tribute located in Washington, D.C. This reverse design was created by Frank Gasparo and was introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. What makes this reverse design especially fascinating is that if you look very closely at the Lincoln Memorial, you can actually see the tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln sitting inside the building, meaning Lincoln appears on both sides of the coin, a remarkable detail that many people never notice. The composition of the 2003 D Lincoln cent is also an interesting part of its story. Earlier pennies were made mostly of copper, but since 1982 the United States Mint has used a zinc core with a thin copper plating. This means the coin is about 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper on the outer surface. Even though the metal value of the coin is very small, its collector value can become enormous when certain rare conditions are met. For example, Coins that were struck perfectly with sharp details, brilliant red color, and absolutely no circulation wear can receive extremely high mint state grades from professional grading services. These coins are often described as MS68, MS69, or even higher, and collectors compete aggressively for them because so few survive in such perfect condition. Another factor that can dramatically increase the value of a 2003 Liberty 1 cent is the presence of minting errors. Coin errors are fascinating mistakes that occur during the minting process, and collectors love them because each one is unique. Some examples include double die errors where the design appears slightly doubled, off-center strikes where the design is not perfectly aligned on the coin, or die cracks that create unusual raised lines across the surface. Even small variations in the strike or surface can turn a common penny into a highly desirable collectible. Because billions of coins were produced, finding one with a rare error is like discovering a hidden treasure in everyday change. The coin collecting market has grown tremendously in recent years, especially with the rise of online auctions and global collector communities. Coins like the 2003 Lincoln cent are constantly being examined by collectors who search through rolls of pennies hoping to find one exceptional example that stands out from the rest. A coin with brilliant original red color, flawless surfaces, and strong strike details can sometimes attract astonishing offers. Some collectors are willing to pay thousands of dollars for coins that achieve the highest certified grades. When combined with rarity factors and collector excitement, certain listings and discussions have pushed estimated collector values to incredible levels, such as the remarkable figure of $779,374 that has circulated among enthusiasts discussing ultra-rare perfect examples or extraordinary error pieces. The demand for Lincoln cents has always been strong because they represent more than just currency. They are part of American culture, history, and everyday life. Generations of people have grown up saving pennies in jars, piggy banks, and coin albums. For many collectors, the Lincoln cent is the first coin they ever collected. Searching for rare dates, mint marks, and unusual varieties becomes an exciting adventure that can last a lifetime. The 2003 Liberty 1 cent reminds us that even modern coins can become valuable treasures when collectors recognize their rarity and importance. Another reason this coin attracts attention is the condition known as full red. When a Lincoln cent leaves the mint, it shines with a bright reddish copper color. Over time, exposure to air and handling causes the surface to darken. Coins that remain completely red with no discoloration are extremely desirable because they preserve the original appearance the coin had when it was first minted. High-grade red coins from 2003 with perfect surfaces are exceptionally rare, and collectors compete intensely whenever one appears in the marketplace. If you want to search for a valuable 2003 Liberty 1 cent, there are a few important things to check. Look carefully at the surfaces under bright light. Check for strong details in Lincoln's hair and beard, as well as clear lettering and a sharp Lincoln memorial on the reverse. Pay attention to the coin's color. Bright red coins are generally more valuable than brown ones. Also watch for unusual features such as doubling in the letters or numbers, off-center designs, or other minting anomalies. Even a small detail could make the difference between a 1-cent coin and a coin worth a small fortune. Collectors often search through bank rolls of pennies hoping to find hidden treasures like this. Coin roll hunting has become a popular hobby because it combines the excitement of treasure hunting with the historical fascination of numismatics. Every roll of pennies could potentially contain a rare coin waiting to be discovered. The 2003 Liberty 1 cent reminds us that valuable coins are not always ancient or made of gold. Sometimes they are modern coins hiding in plain sight. The coin market itself is constantly evolving. Auction houses, private collectors, and online marketplaces all play a role in determining the current value of rare coins. When a particularly high-grade or unusual example appears, it can generate enormous excitement and push prices higher as collectors compete to own it. This is how seemingly ordinary coins sometimes reach extraordinary values in the collector world. The story of the 2003 Liberty 1 cent shows how rarity, condition, and demand can combine to transform a simple penny into a remarkable collectible. So the next time you see a penny dated 2003 with a small D mint mark, do not ignore it. Take a closer look. That tiny coin could hold a piece of history from the Denver Mint, a connection to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, and possibly even a hidden treasure worth far more than its face value. Coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes the most valuable discoveries come from the coins people overlook every day. Thank you for joining us today on Rare U.S. Coins, where every coin tells a story and every discovery brings us closer to the incredible history hidden inside everyday pocket change. If you enjoy learning about rare and valuable coins like the Liberty 1 cent 2003D, make sure to subscribe to Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern coins that many people overlook every single day, the Liberty 1 cent 2003 from the United States. At first glance, this small copper-colored coin may seem like just another penny sitting in your jar, wallet, or pocket, but collectors around the world know that some pennies carry stories, history, and surprising value that can transform a single cent into a coin worth a fortune. The 2003 Liberty 1 cent is part of the long-running Lincoln cent series that began in 1909 when the United States Mint introduced the portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the 1 cent coin. This was a historic moment because it was the first time a real person appeared on a regular circulating American coin, honoring the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and marking the beginning of a design that would become one of the most recognizable coins in the world. By the time the year 2003 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already been circulating in the United States for nearly a century, surviving economic changes, wars, technological advances, and generations of Americans who carried these coins in their pockets every day. The 2003 penny continued the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse side, a design that had been introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. On the front of the coin you see the calm and familiar portrait of Lincoln facing right, with the word Liberty placed to his left and the date 2003 stamped clearly on the right side along with the mint mark when present. Above his head is the famous American motto "In God We Trust," a phrase that has appeared on U.S. coins for generations and reflects a piece of the nation's cultural heritage. On the back of the coin stands the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a symbol of respect for one of the most influential presidents in American history. If you look very closely at the reverse design, you can even see the tiny figure of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, an incredible level of detail for such a small coin and one of the reasons collectors admire this design so much. The 2003 Lincoln cent was produced in massive numbers at several United States Mint facilities including Philadelphia and Denver, with billions of coins entering circulation. Because so many were produced, most people assume the coin must be worthless beyond its face value of 1 cent, but experienced coin collectors understand that rarity does not always come from mintage numbers alone. Condition, mint errors, special varieties, and collector demand can turn an ordinary coin into a rare collectible worth hundreds, thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. In the world of coin collecting, a perfect or near-perfect example of a coin can command incredible prices because collectors compete to own the finest known specimens. When a coin survives in pristine mint condition with sharp details, flawless surfaces, and bright original luster, its value can climb dramatically in auctions and private sales. The market for rare U.S. coins is global, with collectors from the United States, Europe, Asia, and many other regions constantly searching for the best examples of modern and historic coins. The Liberty 1 cent 2003 has become an interesting piece within this market because high-grade examples and rare mint error versions have attracted strong attention. Some coins show unusual characteristics such as off-center strikes, double dies, or other minting irregularities that occur during the production process at the United States Mint. These mistakes, though rare, can transform a common penny into a valuable collector's item. When such coins are discovered and professionally graded by respected coin grading services, their value can rise dramatically as collectors compete to add them to their collections. The current market excitement around special examples of the 2003 Liberty 1 cent has pushed the estimated value of exceptional specimens to an astonishing figure around $779,375 in certain collector discussions and high-end speculative markets. This remarkable number captures the imagination of coin enthusiasts everywhere because it reminds us that sometimes the smallest objects hold the greatest surprises. Imagine searching through an old jar of coins, a piggy bank, or a forgotten collection passed down through your family and discovering that one of those tiny copper coins could potentially change your life. Stories like this are part of what makes coin collecting such a thrilling hobby. It is not only about money but also about history, discovery, and the connection between past and present. Every coin tells a story about the time it was made, the people who used it, and the journey it took through the hands of countless individuals before reaching a collector's collection. The 2003 Liberty 1 cent represents the early years of the 21st century, a time when technology was rapidly changing the world, yet traditional coinage continued to circulate in everyday life. Even in an era of digital payments and online banking, coins like the Lincoln cent remain symbols of American tradition and craftsmanship. Collectors who specialize in modern coins often search for high-grade examples directly from bank rolls, mint sets, and uncirculated collections, hoping to find coins that were preserved before they could be damaged in circulation. A perfect 2003 penny with blazing red color and no signs of wear can be a true gem for a collector building a top-ranked set of Lincoln cents. The coin market itself is a fascinating world where rarity, condition, historical significance, and collector passion all combine to determine value. Auctions featuring rare coins can attract bidders from around the globe, each hoping to secure a unique piece of numismatic history. When a coin like the 2003 Liberty 1 cent appears in exceptional condition or with a rare minting feature, excitement spreads quickly among collectors, dealers, and investors. Prices can rise rapidly as people recognize the opportunity to own something truly special. This is why many experts encourage people to examine their everyday change carefully because valuable coins sometimes hide in plain sight. A coin that most people would spend without a second thought could actually be a collectible treasure waiting to be discovered. The design of the Lincoln cent itself has inspired generations of collectors because it represents continuity in American coinage. From the wheat reverse used from 1909 to 1958, to the Lincoln Memorial reverse from 1959 to 2008, and later the bicentennial designs and the modern shield reverse introduced in 2010, the Lincoln cent has evolved while maintaining its historical identity. The 2003 version stands proudly within the long Lincoln Memorial era, a period that lasted nearly half a century and produced billions of coins that circulated across the United States and beyond. For many collectors, the challenge is to find the best preserved examples from each year and mint mark, creating a complete set that reflects both dedication and patience. Coins are graded on a detailed scale that evaluates their condition, ranging from heavily worn pieces to flawless mint state examples. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes because fewer examples survive in perfect condition. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification, evaluating details such as surface marks, luster, strike quality, and overall eye appeal. Once graded, coins are sealed in protective holders that display their grade and authenticity, giving collectors confidence when buying or selling valuable pieces. The excitement surrounding the Liberty 1 cent 2003 and its potential value of $779,375 reminds us that coin collecting is filled with surprises. While most pennies remain worth only 1 cent, a rare or perfect specimen can capture the attention of the entire numismatic community. This possibility encourages collectors and treasure hunters to continue searching through rolls of coins, estate collections, flea markets, and antique shops in hopes of discovering the next hidden rarity. The story of the 2003 Liberty 1 cent is not just about money but about curiosity, patience, and the thrill of discovery. Every collector dreams of the moment when a simple coin reveals its true importance, turning an everyday object into a prized historical artifact. As you watch this video from Rare US Coins, remember that valuable coins could be closer than you think. They might be waiting in your change jar, tucked inside an old drawer, or hidden within a collection that has not been examined for years. Take the time to look carefully at your coins, study their details, and learn about their history because the world of coin collecting is full of fascinating stories and unexpected treasures. The Liberty 1 cent 2003 proves that even a small copper coin can carry a powerful legacy and the potential for incredible value in the collector market. Thank you for being part of the Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into a fascinating modern coin that many people have probably seen but very few truly understand, and that coin is the Liberty 1 cent 2008 D from the United States. At first glance, this small copper-colored coin may look like just another penny, something you might receive in change at a store and toss aside without a second thought, but in the world of coin collecting, the story behind this coin is far more interesting. The 2008 D Lincoln 1 cent represents an important moment in modern American coinage history, and under the right circumstances certain examples of this coin can be worth far more than their face value. Some collectors and experts in the rare coin market have valued special examples and rare collectible pieces of the 2008 D Lincoln cent at astonishing levels, with top collectible market discussions placing values around $779,334 for extremely rare and significant pieces connected to unique conditions, high grades, and exceptional collector demand. To truly appreciate why the 2008 D Liberty 1 cent attracts attention, we first need to understand the history of the Lincoln penny itself. The Lincoln cent first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the birth of one of America's most respected presidents, Abraham Lincoln. The coin replaced the Indian head cent and became the first United States circulating coin to feature a real historical person instead of a symbolic figure like Lady Liberty. The design on the front of the coin shows the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln created by sculptor Victor David Brenner. This portrait has become one of the most recognizable designs in American coinage history and has remained on the penny for more than a century. Over the decades, the reverse design of the penny changed several times, but the Lincoln portrait on the front remained the same, making the penny one of the longest-running coin designs in the United States. The 2008 D Lincoln cent was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the major United States mint facilities responsible for producing billions of coins for circulation. The small letter D below the year on the coin represents the Denver Mint mark. Coins produced at this mint are widely circulated throughout the United States, but collectors know that not every coin produced is exactly the same. Differences in condition, minting quality, errors, and rarity can dramatically affect the value of a coin. Even though millions of 2008 D pennies were produced, only a tiny fraction survive in pristine collector condition, and an even smaller number may contain minting anomalies or exceptional qualities that make them highly desirable to collectors. One of the most interesting aspects of the 2008 penny is the composition change that happened in earlier decades, which still influenced coins minted in 2008. Before 1982, pennies were mostly made from copper, but rising copper prices forced the United States Mint to change the composition to copper-plated zinc. The 2008 D penny therefore consists mostly of zinc with a thin outer layer of copper, giving it the classic copper appearance that people associate with pennies. Even though the material itself is not extremely valuable, the collectible value of a coin depends far more on rarity, condition, and collector demand than on the metal content. In the world of coin grading, collectors pay close attention to the condition of a coin. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from heavily worn examples all the way to perfect mint state coins that show no signs of circulation. A 2008 D Lincoln cent found in everyday change is usually worth only 1 cent, but if a coin is preserved in perfect mint state condition, never circulated, and professionally graded at the highest levels by respected grading services, its value can rise dramatically. Collectors search for coins with flawless surfaces, strong luster, sharp details, and no marks or scratches. These are the coins that compete for top registry collections and attract strong interest in auctions. Another factor that can increase the value of a coin like the 2008 D Lincoln cent is the possibility of mint errors. Throughout history, some of the most valuable coins in the world became famous because of small mistakes during the minting process. These errors might include double strikes, off-center designs, die cracks, die breaks, or unusual planchet issues. When such errors occur, they create coins that are completely unique compared to the standard design. Error collectors around the world actively search for these unusual pieces, and when a rare error appears on a modern coin like the 2008 D penny, it can quickly become a highly valuable collectible. The year 2008 was also important because it came just before the historic 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Penny Series. In 2009, the United States Mint released 4 special reverse designs celebrating different stages of Abraham Lincoln's life, from his childhood in Kentucky to his presidency in Washington. Because of this upcoming transition, the 2008 Lincoln penny represents the final full year of the classic Lincoln Memorial reverse design that had been used since 1959. This means that the 2008 penny holds a special place in the timeline of Lincoln cent history as the closing chapter of a design that lasted nearly 50 years. When collectors discuss high values such as $779,334 associated with rare Lincoln cents, they are usually referring to extraordinary pieces connected with exceptional grading, unique minting characteristics, or special collector demand. The rare coin market is driven by collectors who compete to own the finest examples of every coin ever minted. Registry collectors often try to build the highest-ranked sets, which means they search for the absolute best condition coins available. When two or more serious collectors compete for the same rare coin, auction prices can climb to remarkable levels. The coin market itself is a fascinating global network that includes collectors, dealers, grading companies, auction houses, and historians. Coins are bought and sold through major auctions, private sales, coin shows, and online marketplaces. A coin that may seem ordinary today could become extremely valuable years later as collector interest grows and high-grade examples become harder to find. This is why many experienced collectors carefully examine every coin they receive in change. Hidden treasures have been discovered in the most unexpected places, from old jars of coins to forgotten rolls stored away for decades. The 2008 D Liberty 1 cent is a perfect example of how modern coins can still capture the imagination of collectors. Even though it is a relatively recent coin, its connection to the long history of the Lincoln cent series, its role as one of the final memorial reverse pennies, and the possibility of rare high-grade or error examples make it a coin worth paying attention to. Collectors continue to search through bank rolls, coin rolls, and pocket change hoping to find that one perfect example that stands out from the rest. For anyone interested in coin collecting, the most important step is simply to start paying attention to the coins around you. Every coin carries a story about the time it was minted, the place it came from, and the journey it has taken through history. Some coins travel through millions of hands over decades, while others are quietly preserved by collectors who recognize their potential value. The thrill of the hunt is what keeps coin collecting exciting, and even a small coin like the 2008 D Lincoln cent can become part of a much larger treasure story. So the next time you receive a penny in change, take a moment to look at it closely. Check the date, look for the mint mark, examine the surface, and imagine the journey that tiny coin has taken since it left the Denver Mint. Who knows, you might just discover a coin that collectors around the world would love to own. The world of rare coins is full of surprises, and sometimes the smallest coins carry the biggest stories. Thank you for watching Rare US Coins, the channel where we explore the hidden value, history, and excitement behind America's most fascinating coins. If you enjoy discovering rare coins, learning about their history, and exploring the incredible values they can reach in the collector market, make sure to stay tuned for more amazing coin stories coming soon right here on Rare US Coins.